Welcome back to Think Like a Content Strategist. My name is Rox. Today we are talking about copywriting or content. I'm actually going to share all of my secrets. You're going to get everything. And my big secret is that I write in headings or headlines. Advertising legend that I'm going to share some tips from and a bit of my own experience is David Ogilvy. He is the father of advertising. He founded Ogilvy and Mather, which is the most successful advertising agency in the history of history. I think he's a great person to learn from, and it really works. Ogilvy believed in research. He didn't just write stuff. He researched and then researched. He tested and then he refined his work. Ogilvy's most powerful lesson is his headline formula. So headlines are not just for magazines or newspapers anymore. They are everywhere. They're your social media openers. They are your YouTube video titles. They are your email newsletters. Just think about that. How you assess everything based on a headline. If you think about it, people, when they look on social media, they don't read, they don't search, they scan. They look for something interesting because we're all really busy. We scan and see what we want to read further or look at, and that's what I'm going to teach you today. David Ogilvy famously said, your headline was 80% of the work and 20% was the body copy. If you have not got them at the headline, you haven't got them, and nothing else matters. So I'm going to say that again, nothing else matters. Your headline is everything. If you take the 80-20 rule, you should be spending 80% of your time on the headline and 20% of your time on the body copy. I'm going to take you through Ogilvy's 11-step headline formula. Number 1 is name your prospects in the headline. If your target audience or your minimum viable audience, your niche is moms, and you say, hey mom, ... moms are going to listen to you. They're going to get their attention because you called them out. It's like saying, hey Rox, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look at you, or I'm going to listen to you because you're speaking to me. We spoke about this in your minimum viable audience, identifying if you know who your target audience is, name them in the prospect. Number 2 is to promise a benefit in the headline. And this is where you're going to be specific. You can say how women over 35 can look younger. If I'm over 35, I'm going to be interested in reading that article because you are promising something. You're promising me a benefit, and now you've got my attention. So power words, new and free. Use these in your headline. Obviously, you don't want to use clickbait, but they're so powerful. If you say new ... You've got my attention. Or obviously free. Everyone loves a freebie. New and free are words that still work today. Advertisers use them in their marketing, and you should too. Number 4 is add wonder phrases. So something like introducing ... Words like how to ... Those are things that are really interesting. They're going to pique curiosity. They're going to get attention. Number 5 is use emotional words. They're going to trigger emotional responses. Words like love, baby, fear, pride, or proud. An example will be why your customers will love this new ... or why you will love this ... Number 6 is add your brand name into your headline. This is your value proposition. Use it. Get people to know who you are. Number 7 is include a selling promise. David Ogilvy's one of his most famous advertising campaign was a Rolls-Royce campaign. At 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise you'll hear in the new Rolls-Royce is the electric clock. Number 8 is add bait to get people to read your copy. So 3 advertising secrets I've never shared before. Number 9 is remove wordplay. This can be tempting because in your mind, you want to use something clever that makes sense to you, but clear always wins. People don't have the time to decipher what you're trying to say, or sometimes they just don't get it. And when they get confused, I mentioned this in the last episode, they don't take action. It makes sense to you because you've read it a couple of times, or you understand it, or you have context. They don't. If it's not clear, rather remove the wordplay, just say what it is. Number 10 is remove negatives. In your heading, Don't use words like don't or won't or couldn't. People, because they scan headlines, they read it so quickly, they may misinterpret what you're trying to say. Stay away from negatives in your headlines. This is number 11. It's probably one of the most important in terms of responsible journalism, responsible copywriting, is ad fullness. Remember that people are only going to read 80%. The headline is 80%. So if only 20% are going to read further, make sure that you give fullness and that all the details are there in your headline. Otherwise, if they're not and there's nothing further, then that's really just clickbait. If you start applying these techniques tomorrow, I guarantee you that you're going to start seeing a result in how your customers respond, because they feel like your marketing is specifically for them, and that's because it is. As a last final takeaway is David Ogilvy's concept of the big idea. The best example I can give you is the evolution of the Dove brand over 60 years. Still today, one of my most favorite adverts. There's a woman in a bath. In the ad copy, she says, "Darling, I'm having the most extraordinary time." Darling is calling out the prospects. Already, that's who they're speaking to. They're speaking to women. They're speaking to women who can connect with someone who calls one another darling. I'm having the most extraordinary time. That calls out a benefit, that uses emotional, powerful words. I can take you through Dove Darling campaign. Darling, I'm having the most extraordinary experience. I'm head over heels in Dove. That's the heading, which really grabs you. In the body copy, no darling, Dove, D like in delicious. I told you sweet, I'm in the tub, taking a bath, a Dove bath, my very first. And what a positively gorgeous time I'm having. It's just as if I've never really bathed before. No dear, it isn't a soap. Soap was never like this. If you hear that, it's so descriptive. For females, myself personally, I just love that. Then the next campaign, which came out in 2004, so that was 20 years ago, the Dove Real Beauty campaign, which was at the time absolutely revolutionary. A campaign for women, about real women, women of all sizes, women of all shapes, and everyone connected with that campaign. They've still made it relevant 40 years on. And then they did a follow-up in 2006, the Keep Beauty Real ad, which was very, very relevant at the time about social media and filters and digitally enhancing things. And that's about beauty in the AI age. 2 decades ago, Dove made a stand in challenging false beauty standards. Today, as we transition into an era where 90% of content is predicted to be AI generated by 2025, which is this year, and that's absolutely true. Our message still stands: keep beauty real. I think it's just so real and so authentic. It makes me love the Dove brand and really feel like they understand women. This ultimately shows that marketing is not about chasing trends. It's about understanding a fundamental truth about your audience. The ones that will really succeed will honestly be the people who take the time to think about who their target audience is, what drives them, what's important to them, what their values are, and then to create marketing that speaks to those things. Those are the people that will win in social media. And of course, just building on that consistently. That's how you build brand loyalty and brand affinity. That's it for this week. I will see you next week, Monday at 12:15. Thank you for listening.